I mentioned before that GitHub is a company that helps with storing code in the cloud. But to better understand how GitHub helps with that, it's important to realize that the company's name, GitHub, includes the word Git. And Git is actually a standalone independent tool. And it's important to understand what Git is to better understand what GitHub is all about. So, what is Git? Git is a free version control system tool. And it is a tool you can download and install on your machine, no matter if it's a Windows or Mac OS or a Linux machine. And with that Git tool, you can manage source code changes of an application you might be writing or of a website you might be working on. Any source code, no matter which programming language is used or which kind of application is being built, any source code can be managed with Git. Now, Git helps with managing your source code by, for example, allowing you to create snapshots, so-called commits of that source code at any point in time you want to create a snapshot. You can also work on multiple versions of the same package or app or website or whatever simultaneously with help of a feature called branches. And you can easily switch between different branches and snapshots by checking them out. And these are all terms you will frequently hear in conjunction with Git. Now, if this all does not tell you anything, then the next course section is for you, because that next course section is a Git and GitHub crash course section, which teaches you the key fundamentals you must know about Git and GitHub in order to get the most out of this course. If you already do know all these Git and GitHub fundamentals, you can of course skip that next course section. So the idea behind Git is that you can use it to control your source code and, for example, easily roll back to older code snapshots if you messed something up, or develop new features simultaneously with your existing code without breaking that existing code, which might currently be powering your active website. And you will see these things and Git in action in that crash course section I just mentioned. So that's Git. What is GitHub then? GitHub is a company, and it is a company that offers cloud Git repositories and services related to that code which you're managing in the cloud. Now, a repository is simply a bucket, a space that contains your code. And when using Git, you have local code repositories. Any project that's managed with Git is called a repository. When using GitHub, you can also create such repositories in the cloud. And you can connect such a cloud repository that you created with GitHub to your local repository and then push changes to that cloud repository or download them from that repository. And the idea simply is that if you, for example, lose your local machine, if it crashes and can't be restored, you don't lose your code. Or if you're switching to a different device, you can download the code from this cloud repository and continue your work on it. Now with GitHub, you can create public and private repositories, and you can also manage who has access to these repositories, who can change the code, and so on. But it's not just about storing code. GitHub also offers features related to code management and collaborative development. It offers features called issues or projects or pull requests, which you will see in action in that crash course section I mentioned before, but which are in the end about tracking bugs, reporting bugs to code maintainers, organizing code projects, suggesting changes, and many other things. So GitHub is not just about storing code in the cloud, it's also about developing code together with others in the cloud with help of tools provided by GitHub. And last but not least, GitHub also offers automation services like GitHub Actions, which of course is the focus of this course, that help you automate repository and code related processes. So that's GitHub, that's Git, And most importantly, that's what GitHub Actions is. GitHub Actions is that service provided by GitHub that enables you to automate code or code and repository management related processes and workflows.